By the way, now I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to push it, and I running back coach didn't take the pass. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports. It's the sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. The play for today is pretty simple. It's a free-for-all Friday right here on your home for Alabama Sports, Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling. I want to invite you to get in on the conversation. As we move out, we want to encourage you. Hold on. Stay with us, guys. I want to invite you to get in on the conversation. We're live on live stream, and it is about to get going on the Free-for-All Friday. We'll look back at what's happening. Big weekend recruiting for Coach Gore and his staff. Bama Hoops, did they turn the corner with the big win against Auburn? Expectations for 2024. Let's get it rolling right here. So glad that you've chosen to be with us, and we'll add you to the conversation on the chat. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, Martin J. Houston 35, and Martin Houston 35 fan page on Facebook, and on the X, Martin Houston 35. So we are definitely moving right along. We'll add Xavier to the conversation here in just a moment. We'll add the Tide Network to this conversation here in just a moment. But if you can hear me out there in the radio land, let me hear from you as we review the week. It is absolutely a opportunity for us to get it rolling. All right. If you're out there in the radio land, I'd love to hear your thoughts and what's happening. All right, X, are you there? All right. Hey, guys, they'll figure it out on the other side, but we're definitely live on this side, so we'll just keep it rolling.
Thanks, Martin. I got you back.
All right. Welcome into the show. Those of you who are joining us on the radio network, we've been live on the other side for a few minutes there, but we are ready to get things rolling. Apologize once again for technical difficulties. X, are you there?
Ready to go.
All right. The phone lines are open at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. And it is always open for business. And for those of you who are out there on the live stream, once again, you guys, we definitely want to hear your comments, your thoughts, and your reactions as we move through the program. we'll start off. It's just been a big week for DeBoer, or it appears as some of the players are already beginning to label him Coach Debo. And number one, Ryan Fowler had a chance to talk with Ryan Williams about Ryan Grubbs. So, and Coach Debo, as he referred to him several times, also talking about Shepard, his new position coach. So, may not have any audio from that, but we definitely can get some of the comments that were made as we work it into the program. And there were several comments in there, I think, that we'll rewind throughout this off season regarding Ryan Williams and what he means to this program. Before we get into the conversation, as I do each and every day, I want to remind you that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Well, X, just overall, we didn't really get into a whole lot of the roster management, but definitely a big week in terms of the roster management. And now that we're getting closer, I think Coach Debo is going to probably kind of not go all in on hitting the portal. I think he's going to save his spots until after the season. I know a lot of people say, hey, we should go raid Michigan. I'm not sure we should go raid anyone unless there's someone that is just absolutely, a can't miss type of player. I don't think you go into the portal yet. I think I tell you what I think in a moment. I don't think that just because Michigan roster is open that you go take somebody from Michigan, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. But X, let's talk a little bit about just the overall week in what happened for this roster, this recruiting, and what happened on the recruiting trail. And now that we're getting a bigger picture, I think Alabama folks, because everybody's talked about what we lost, but no one's talked about what we gained. So let's break that down for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the last few weeks here as an Alabama fan, there's been a lot of losses: the Caden Proctors, the Caleb Downs, the Isaiah Bonds. But with what Alabama has gained, man, you've got to be happy with the first 2 weeks now or so of Coach DeBoer's era here at Alabama. You get Austin Mack, the 6'6" quarterback from that transferred in from Washington. You talk about Parker Brailsford for the leader of that Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. Ryan Williams is back in the fold, canceling his visit to Texas and his visit to Auburn. He seems to be 100% locked in with Alabama now, as well as Noah Carter, the four-star edge rusher, who is coming from the Washington class as well. I mean, Coach DeBoer's done a great job of not only getting his staff together, but as well as getting those guys to come in, transfer in, recommit, commit to Alabama, and believe in the process that he has going.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you look at it, we've only, like I said, we've only talked about who Alabama lost. Okay, but when you start breaking it down, how many players like guys who were doing their thing or had done their thing at a big level? Caleb Downs, Isaiah Bond, and Proctor was a starter, X, but we were wanting him. We were saying he needs to greatly improve. Or who on this radio and who sports the Crimson Tide jersey finish the season saying Caden Proctor should be our left tackle? If you did, call me up and tell me. Post it in the comments. Tell me that you were sold that Caden Proctor should be the returning starter at left tackle. So when I look at it, we were talking about depth guys, right? We were talking about depth guys. Let's look at who we got. So how many starters did we lose? X 2, 3.
3.
Or
I mean, if you count Seth McLaughlin, 4, but I also look at it as without COVID, Seth had used up all of his eligibility, and you should have had to replace him regardless.
And people are calling for his replacement anyway. So
right.
let's say let's add him in. What was N'Keal Beatron's stance or expectations at A&M? The big offensive tackle.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that my point is he was a guy who was expected to compete. He was a guy. So it wasn't like we lost a left tackle that was all world and replaced him with a left tackle that was garbage. So Proctor, Beatron, Wash. Neither one of them had done anything great in their career. And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to dog Proctor. I call for him to be replaced all year. We just watched the team give up more sacks in a game than I think Washington gave up all year. Okay. All right. Left tackle. Defensive tackle. LT Overton. Did we lose anybody in that position?
Only defensive lineman that we lost
to the portal.
I'm pretty sure was to the portal.
To the portal. No.
No, we lost Isaiah Hastings went into the portal, but he was a depth guy, and you lost Justin Boydby, who was a starter to the draft.
Right. And LT is upside is tremendous. Then you got Damani Jackson. So Damani Jackson will be taking Trey Amos' place.
Higher upside.
5-star, right? Higher upside. Then you got, we did lose the center, and we got Parker Brailsford. Upgrade.
The best returning center in the country.
Yes, in the top offensive lineman in the portal, interior lineman in the portal, and was the number 2 overall center in the country behind one guy last year according to PFF's ratings. And he has 3 years of eligibility. And he snapped in the shotgun. So, and then Jeremy Bernard. Is he as good as Isaiah Bond? Don't know yet, but the dude had 400 yards receiving behind 3 NFL wide receivers. Probably wash or close to a wash. So all of a sudden, when you look at that, X, I think Alabama is pretty good in terms of replacing the guys who were expected to be on the field. Now the question becomes, can Alabama get some depth? On the other side, we'll talk about what Alabama has done outside of the portal that no one's talking about in just the recruiting class itself. Is this now a higher rated class when you take just who will ultimately sign? Is this a higher rated class than it was when Saban left? Is the 2024 class now a higher rated class? Both ways. We're going to look at it X from, and I don't know if, now this is going to be Martin's assessment, not some official number, but we're going to look at just the seniors we sign versus the portal, and when you add them together, is this a better class than what Saban had hauled in? Did DeBoer improve up on the class that Saban had? We'll talk more about it on the other side. You can get in on the conversation, 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are underway for this front drive with no big problems on the board. If you're traveling 2059 from Foster's out to Cottondale along McFarland Boulevard, coming in from Coker, passing up Lurling Wallace U of A down to the I-20 and the drive along University and Skyland Boulevard, all in good shape as well. Light volume and no big problems at this very early hour. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ADA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Julie Currington, Kip Moore, and Red Barrett. Live in concert. Friday, May 17th, Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater. Billy Currington, Kip Moore, Red Barrett. On sale Friday, 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Part of the Coca-Cola Concert Series, produced by Live Nation.
65 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit drivesafealabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky will stay mostly cloudy today and tonight with occasional showers. The high today 68, the low tonight 58. Tomorrow, cloudy showers are likely, maybe a strong thunderstorm passing through during the day. The high tomorrow at 69 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 56 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9, 1230 a.m. WTBC is where you can catch it on the radio airwaves. I want to remind all of you who tune in on the various networks, going to be consolidating down to broadcasting the live stream on YouTube and on my Facebook pages. So the live stream, those of you who are on Tide 100.9 on Facebook, prepare to shift over starting on Monday. We'll probably do a little trial run there and see how it goes. But just want you to know the broadcast isn't going away, but the consolidation is going to begin to happen. So want you all to stay with us as we move throughout. We appreciate you, and we'll figure it all out as we go. All right, we're doing a Flashback Friday, talking about the big week in recruiting X. Before we move too far, we do have a caller, that we want to hit, and that is J-Rob. J-Rob, you're in with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Happy Friday and roll tide, Martin and X. I hope y'all doing good.
Happy Friday. We are, sir.
Yes, sir. Roll tide.
Man, I just want to talk about what a great week. If you're an Alabama fan, you couldn't hardly get any better than it's gotten this week. For the Tide Nation, we've got two great wins over the Booger Eaters with the basketball team on Wednesday night, and with Ryan Williams recommitting to the Crimson Tide, and I just every day that goes by, I feel better and better about Coach DeBoer and what he's trying to keep going here at the University of Alabama.
Did you hear part of what happened with him recommitting? What he told Ryan Fowler?
Yeah, I heard his interview yesterday with Ryan. I heard that he brought his family and he liked that he could have his family, his siblings involved, and coach was so. The coach was also played his position. It was one of the factors also. So,
but listen to
what
this.
Did you hear that I may not have?
No. You nailed it. Alabama was the only school that really did that, and I was like, did what? Family is definitely a big part of me and who I am, and the only school that really did that, even them being able to come, that was rare. They welcomed them with open arms. And that's the difference between the Tide family and these other schools. Okay, now, Bama Nation and the rest of the recruiting world, Saban had some unique aspects to what he was able to do in recruiting. And I truly believe this. I think that Nick Saban in a kid's home, J-Rob, was so able to connect with the parents to convince them that he would love their son, take care of their son, be there for their son, because Saban he had adopted his children. He was an adopted parent. Right. And he had learned how to love someone who was not his blood. That makes sense.
Yeah,
he truly knew how to a child, and I think he learned that from his dad, from West Virginia, who took all of those little kids in West Virginia on that Pee Wee football team and became a father to them when they didn't have a father. I think that Nick Saban was his dad on steroids at Alabama. But DeBoer has come in now, and think about what you just heard. That is a distinguishing fact that in less than a couple of weeks, he's able to have something that was so important to a young man that nobody else was able to do.
That's awesome.
I mean, just think about it. And I can relate to that. Now, when I came on my recruiting visit, my parents were divorced, okay? But I wanted both of my parents to be able to experience that moment. And Alabama let me bring my parents, both sets, both were remarried, and so I was able to bring my mom and dad, even though they were divorced. And that was huge for me. So I get what Ron Williams is saying. And the fact that DeBoer did that right off the bat, woo, I'm telling you, that's huge, because it speaks to who he is. It speaks to his character. It speaks to what he said. We're going to teach these young men, how to be good football players, but how to be good men and how to be good family men, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I love the fact that was one of the distinguishing points that Ron Williams labeled outside of football. Because everybody can offer you something in football. But what's going to be the difference, man?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he was I think he was very impressed with Coach DeBoer. And, every day he stays, the longer he stays, he's winning us over. He's winning us over even more, improving why he should be here. One more thing before I go, I did want to ask you two, who you got in the AFC and who you got in the NFC, and I'll hang up. Let's see. Y'all have a great weekend and roll tide.
All right, X, you want to talk about NFC? AFC. It's a free for all Friday, so we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to root against Patrick Mahomes, and
it's not for me.
What he's done on the field, I'm just saying, 6 straight AFC Championship games.
Let me tell you why Let me tell you why there's more than one, but let me tell you the number one reason I don't want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. What's that girl's name?
Taylor Swift.
There we go. That's it. That's it. I don't want to see her talked about. I don't want to see. I don't want to see it. I'm just. You might call me up and you might call me up and hate on me and call me whatever you want. But I do not want the Chiefs to win. One reason I don't want the Chiefs to win is I do not want to hear another Taylor Swift reference when it comes to football. The NFL ain't fooling nobody. They trying to get all that money from Taylor Swift. They could care less about Taylor Swift, but they know that she got a bunch of followers out there. She is to the economy of the NFL right now what Saban was to the economy of the state of Alabama. And they are riding that pony. They are riding. I'm not even sure they're not even cheating for the Chiefs to get there. Just kidding. But I also want Lamar. I think it's critical. I think it's critical that a dual threat type of quarterback wins a Super Bowl. I
agree.
To legitimize whether or not that style will work in the NFL. I just think I think Lamar is the MVP. I think he's done a lot, but it will show that if you still play great defense, great special teams, and you have a quarterback that's dynamic, you can win the Super Bowl.
I 100% agree with that, and that's why I'm rooting for Baltimore. It's hard just here on the field to pull against Patrick Mahomes because of everything he has accomplished himself and that team has accomplished. So there's that. But I am pulling for Baltimore. And then when you look at San Francisco and Detroit, man, Detroit's just a feel-good story. Dan Campbell, everything that he said that he was wanted to do and going to do when he got to Detroit, he's done it. And now it's that next step. And, of course, it's hard to root against the Bama guys when you look at both teams. You look at Marlon Humphrey and Jalen Armour Davis on the Ravens, and you got Gibbs and J-Mo and Branch on the Lions. I would love to see all of those guys get an opportunity to play for a Super Bowl. And plus, I don't think there are any Bama players on San Francisco and Kansas City.
Yeah, and boo to them then. Now the 49ers are fortunate to be here. Green Bay outplayed them for 58 minutes and then choked on the last drive.
Thanks to an Auburn kicker.
Beat Auburn again. But anyway, if I'm going with who I think it's going to be the Ravens and the 49ers. That'll be an epic old school style, matchup. I would love to see
Cam Latu's.
Huh?
Cam Latu's on the 49ers. He's hurt, but he's on the 49ers.
But what I would love to see is the Lions and the Ravens. To get there. Now I'm gonna tell you who my new team is. I'm not a big. I've not had a. I used to be a Cowboys guy many moons ago before Jerry Jones. Then of course I was played for the Steelers briefly, but never really was the Steelers have to win type of guy. I might go all in on the Texans though. I might go all in on the Texans. Can you imagine? And I know if you're just now joining the program, the Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. We had a question about the Super Bowl. It's a free-for-all Friday, so I'll quickly hit. Think about this. You had the number 2 and number 3 pick on the same team by rookie head coach, and all 3 of them won their respective rewards. Coach of the year, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. If you're the Texans,
I'm sick they won that last game of the season.
Huh?
I'm sick they won that last game of the season last year. Because you know what would have happened if they hadn't, right?
You think they would have went with What?
Yes.
Went with Bryce?
I don't
know that Bryce. I don't know that Bryce is a better fit for Texas. In terms of the way they run their offense. And of course, I don't think that their offensive coordinator is going to be there very long. So I don't know that that's going to matter. But I told somebody I have become a Stroud fan. I've checked his faith. His faith seems to be strong, even though he's a Buckeye. I like the faith stance he takes. So I root for him. Not anything anti-Bryce in that sense. But man. That's 3 young guys. That's the cornerstone of your defense. And then you look at just what happened with the former Bama player, Christian Harris. That dude went from just being a okay player to a superstar. Give him another year under D'Amico Ryan. He's going Pro Bowl. He's going MVP types. I mean, he was just, you could see him getting better and better. And to me, he was having more impact down the stretch than even Will Anderson was with D'Amico as his coach. So love the Texans, man. I'm all in on the Texans. But we'll come back on the other side, X, and we'll talk about some of the actual class that Alabama signed. A couple recent pickups that Alabama has gotten. That did it make this class better than what we had when Saban left? Did we? In other words, it stem the tide, but did we also at the same time get better? And then why I think we will not go all in on the portal unless there's somebody out there that becomes available that would be a great fit. There's one guy that I think, based on if there's a coaching round tree domino effect, that may be a good fit back at Bama.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Association and this station.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. You're careful with your money. Fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Learn to protect yourself at asc.alabama.gov. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Roll Tide, baby. Welcome back into the Martin powered by MaX Sports. It's a free-for-all Flashback Friday, so if you have something that we talked about earlier in the week that we did not get to dig into and you want to dig into that conversation, please feel free to bring it up, bring it out. We'll talk about it right here on your home for Alabama sports. Alabama
Basketball got a big win on Wednesday over the Auburn Tigers. Can they keep that rolling as they take on another set of Tigers on Saturday, the LSU Tigers? This is an important a game because I think Alabama has a legit shot to go on a 4-game win streak as they have LSU Saturday, a Georgia team that's playing tough and playing tough at home, and then host Mississippi State Bulldogs. So got a chance to beat back-to-back Tigers, back-to-back Bulldogs, and then face the Tigers again. I mean, we got 6 games coming up, X, and it's just all about the Tigers, the cats, and the dogs, man. Maybe the elephant can stomp them all out. So, but anyway, back to that conversation, X, we were having in regards to this recruiting class. You know, DeBoer gets his guy. I said it yesterday that Ryan Williams is to DeBoer what Julio was to Saban. And did you hear what Williams had to say?
I didn't get to hear the interview yesterday with Ryan.
Said, one of the statements he said was, "Welcome to the DeBoer era." In other words, he's calling it the DeBoer era, and Ryan, tossed him up a softball, said Tuscaloosa blew up like they just won a national title when Williams announced his commitment. And Ryan Williams said, "Facts, man. That just shows you the love that the fan base has. I'm just ready to be a part of that. And just to let everybody know, the era has just begun." So, I mean, I think he's embracing that role of being that type of impact. Now I think Ryan's going to be unbelievable on the field and all of that, but I think his impact in validating DeBoer as a recruiter and as the head coach, that's where he is to DeBoer what Saban, what Julio was to Saban. How good is this class, man? Now that you have Ryan Williams and Noah Carter yesterday, did this class just get better just on the high school talent?
Yes, I mean when you're talking about what Coach Saban had in the bag, because Ryan still hasn't signed at the time that Coach Saban left. You look at it, and he adds back to that explosiveness of the offense, and you're looking. Yes, you lose Julian Sane, but you gain Austin Mack, which I think at the end of the day, if Mack had been in this class, it would have been a fairly evenly battled position for where they were ranked as quarterbacks. So, yes, I mean, this class, I think for what Coach DeBoer wants to do, you got your first offensive guy, you got your first defensive guy that are your guys for the future. You can't go wrong with the 2 guys that he got.
Absolutely. And so you look at those 2 guys, and then you add in, then you add in the transfer portal. He has improved this class. He locked in and kept the guys that Saban had, and then he brought in a couple more. Yeah, we lost Seth, but Seth was a 1-year guy if he had came back. And it wasn't a guarantee he was going to come back before the fumble, snafu, whatever. But you got a guy that's going to be the anchor of the offensive line for 3 years potentially. He may be a two-year and done guy if he's as good as they say he is. We got a couple calls on hold. Let's get them. Robert in Mobile, you're in with Mark and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
I can see that by your giggle, you read my subject line.
I did. I did.
Man, I can't believe you're hating on Taylor like that, dude. Wow. I'd have figured you to be a Taylor Swift Shake It Off fan from a long time ago. Actually,
You thought I was a Swiftie? You thought I was a Swiftie?
I thought you were over the call. Right, Swifty. Yeah, I thought you were a Swifty. You know, you can tell I'm a Swifty.
Oh man, I'm so hey, the best thing about Taylor Swift in this whole football season is the fact that they went up to the booth to show her and them embracing, and Jason Kelsey was behind them in the booth without a shirt on, having a good time. That's the best part of. That's the best thing that Taylor Swift has brought to us this football.
Of course, you're saying out loud what I would say what 90% of male football fans think.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I said somebody gonna call up and hate on me for saying that, but that's okay.
No, they won't. Not on your, especially not on your show. Maybe online. There's a lot of Swifty acts online if you say anything negative about it. Yeah, you're right. The same thing with Romo and what her name was. Simpson, I believe. Simpson.
Jessica Simpson.
Yeah, Jessica Simpson. That's Romo Jessica Simpson all over again.
Yeah, and what they're doing is, hey, listen, I'm in marketing. I get it. I'm in marketing. I get it. They are. Did you see where the Buffalo Bills actually renamed? They had like 3 or 4 Swifty inspired concession items that were like their top sellers. So go figure. Anyway, I don't blame you. I don't like it.
Oh, well, I despise it. I would just same cat with you. You know, ordinarily I would be kind of indifferent, or maybe the past would actually pull for the Chiefs a bit because of Mahomes. Oh, this year I'm so Team Baltimore. It's I almost feel like Steelers are playing this weekend.
Yeah,
I want them to lose so bad. It's just all right. I'm just so sick of this with Taylor Swift thing. I don't know one song, and it's because it's just so popular, it's hard to avoid. Because I mean, after 2000, I don't know any music anymore. All music is just noise to me after the year 2000.
Well, we're in the same boat there too.
Hey, real quick before I go, I told Ryan this yesterday as well. It does give you kind of the Julio Jones vibe of what's happening with Ryan Williams now. Fortunately for him, it'll be more pressure on him than maybe even was for Julio. You know, Julio, any improvement when Julio came would have been accepted by Alabama fans. If you were just slightly better, we would have been good. Now the bar is so high because of Saban that okay, now you almost have to be great, and we're going to be looking for that, and probably unfair to look for greatness. But I mean, like you say, he embraced it, so that's halfway home.
Robert, what do you think it means now when you hear a Ryan Williams? Think about all of the guys in the 2025 class that he had been recruiting up until December. Remember, he was not this year's class. So we don't understand just how big a deal is that he reclassified. Right. Because he was from 2025. Him reclassifying and not signing has now turned out to be a huge, huge benefit and lift potentially for Alabama. Because remember, he was the top lead dog in recruiting all of the guys from 2025. Mm-hmm. He just validated DeBoer by recommitting. As long as he needs to sign, which I think he is, but you know what I'm saying. By recommitting, but then not just recommitting. Listen to what he's saying about him. Hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy is himself. He's real. He's not trying to be Coach Saban. He's the most humble guy I know. All of those things are going to be used now. Now, instead of Bama fans trying to convince kids that he's a good choice, you now have a player saying, "Come give this guy a chance."
Yeah, I think Julio did that for Saban as well.
Do it now.
I think Julio had that effect for Saban when he first came as well.
Mm-hmm. That's what that's where I think they're more alike than anybody has any idea. Guys came to Alabama because Julio Jones committed. Mm-hmm. Before everybody knew about the Saban effect, people knew about the Julio Jones effect for Saban. Then Saban just capitalized on it. DeBoer has that same opportunity now. Thanks, Robert, man. Appreciate you, and go Ravens. All right. Have a good one. Come back on the other side. We'll get Curtis and Phillip in on a couple topics. We appreciate you being a part of the program out there. We'll come back on the other side and wrap things up.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Our drive times are pretty normal for this early stage of the morning drive. Just a 2 or 3 minute trip along I-359 from the 2059 interchange out to 15th Street, and on 2059 between Skyland and the 359. You're looking at an 8-minute drive there with no major accidents or breakdowns either direction. Mostly quiet trip into and out of the area this morning. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Despite criticism from the United Nations and liberal U.S. Supreme Court justices, Alabama used pure nitrogen gas last night to execute convicted murderer 58-year-old Kenneth Eugene Smith. It took about 22 minutes from the time the curtain was opened in the execution chamber until Smith was declared dead. Governor Ivey said the execution was justice for the stabbing and beating murder for hire killing of 45-year-old Elizabeth Stinnett in 1988. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Weekday mornings at 6 a.m. The Martin Houston Show.
Join the Martin Houston Show powered by MaX Sports. On a Monday edition of the program, we'll add Kennington Smith III of The Athletic to the conversation. We'll review Bama's big weekend versus LSU. Did they keep it rolling against another set of Tigers? We'll talk about that. And, of course, at the top of the menu will be Kalen DeBoer's weekend and what happened with the Crimson Tide football program. We have those conversations and more, and the phone line is always open at 205-342-9904, the Alabama One hotline. We'll talk to you on Monday. Roll Tide.
Catch the Martin Houston Show from 6 to 7 weekday mornings on Tide 100.9.
Townsend Nissan Super Sale is underway right now with instant savings from $2,000 to $10,000 on most in-stock units. No reasonable offer refused. Shop Townsend Nissan today.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Back in with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC in the Martin Houston Radio Sports Network. We're glad to have you as a part of the program. We're talking Free-for-All Friday, Flashback Friday. X, real quick, I don't think that they should go after the Michigan players like a lot of people have said because I think that unless there's some like real dog out there, I think that DeBoer's making kind of, and he's kind of hinting, I think he's making the right choice, X, to go all in with the players who are currently on the team and give them all a chance. But the other benefit is instead of just going after Michigan roster and filling his scholarships, he can fill his scholarships from anybody because everybody's portal will be open. And he may take a guy that's really good versus a guy who may want to come play for the Tide, whose roster closed, and now they're thinking, I might want to go play for DeBoer. There may be a receiver out there or a DB out there that's looking at that. But there's one guy, X, and I want you to respond to this real quick, that if Michigan hires Kelly and LSU, would you take Aaron Anderson back from LSU?
Oh man,
I take him back in a heartbeat. I take him back in a heartbeat. I think the kid. I think he helps our room. I put it like this: Saban was still recruiting him. We talk about Kirby running up to Caleb Downs after the SEC championship game. Did you see that?
Yes.
You can't tell me that wasn't something in the works. I just wondered did Kirby know that Saban was hanging it up, because that was a move to connect with the player to get them to come to your school. Well, Saban said, "Hey, you should, if you stay here, you be playing more than you are there." So I think that's still kicking in. I still think that's kicking around in.
But
Anderson.
that was Saban. That was Saban. Is Aaron Anderson somebody that DeBoer wants? Like that, and that's the question now. Like, and that's not a knock on Aaron Anderson as a player. It's just, is he somebody? Okay.
I think Aaron Anderson was the one guy that Saban went in the portal. I said it when it happened. And then when Saban said what he said after the game, I said he was that dude that Saban said. Saban himself said there was one guy that he wished hadn't went in the portal last year. I think he was talking about Aaron Anderson.
Agreed.
Curtis, you're on the Alabama One Hotline with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, how you doing? Good morning, fellas. Hey, I'll make it real quick here. Hey, one thing that I was been pondering about for like over a month, and I know it's neither here nor there now. Remember the Kevin Steele Rose Bowl pre-interview where he was asked again about, him being the play caller and all that, and he said that he was a defensive coordinator. And then right after that, he said there's only one defensive coordinator, and he has 7 national titles. I know what he was talking about. I know he's talking about Saban. But at the time, I was wondering why he said that. And then the Reese interview, Reese Davis interview when Saban retired, how he had to spend so much time on defense and things like that. And then there was an aha moment for me. I said, okay, that's why Kevin Steele said that. But I guess my question is, when Saban got hired here, Kevin Steele was his defensive coordinator at first, and he knows the Saban system and all that. And I was wondering, how come Saban had to spend so much time on defense when this guy knows the Saban system and all that, kind of neglecting the offense, Do you all have insight on that? Or?
I don't. I say this carefully. I've heard that Steele may be going through some things, and I'll just leave it at that. That impacted his ability. So, unfortunately, I think that T-Rob and then ultimately Saban were calling the defense. He helped and he gave some things, but there's a reason Steele retired. It had nothing to do with performance of the defense. And so, yeah, there was a reason that Saban, I've heard, I don't know for a fact, I haven't verified anything in that. So just know that it was a tough situation is what I've heard with how things had to be handled on defense this year. And I think it hurt the overall team. And there was a reason that what Kiffin said was probably true.
And there's a reason why Saban said he had to work with the defense more this year than he wanted to have to.
Absolutely. So you picked up on something that was right, and now we'll find out more down the road, and then we'll circle back on this conversation. Curtis, thanks, man. Appreciate you being a faithful listener and viewer of the show, man.
Okay, roll tide, fellas. Take care.
Roll tide, Curtis. Philip, you're on with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir, on this Free for All Friday?
Yes, sir. Basketball is on my mind, and I'd like to say that Alabama's done pretty well to this point with Grant doing a huge amount of work by himself because Pringle and Waggy can't stay on the court long enough. So that's the one thing that I'd like to see turn around is Pringle and Waggy improve their game where they're not fouling so much to give Grant a little bit of help because the other night Grant won that game for Alabama, in my opinion, and he was exhausted at the end. So going forward, it's a long, arduous season. He's got to have a little bit more help on the inside.
Well, I won't say he won the game. I said that Alabama couldn't win it without him. and I would say that he closed it out, Philip. And that's the first time he's done it all year in a big. And I had said that Alabama could beat Auburn if Grant plays big, and he finally did. I mean, that's the first time he's done it, I think, against a really good opponent. But Griffin won it in the first half. I think Sears down the stretch won it, and then they all did their job on the free throw line. But I get what you're saying, and yeah, Pringle is just a foul machine. He averages about a foul every 90 seconds. I don't know what's going on with that. He's trying to be. I think he's trying to be a shot blocker, and he's not. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's going. You can't be jumping up in the air, just on every pump fake,
Yeah, he's trying too hard to be a shot blocker. Just be who you are. Be an athlete. Be athletic around it. Use your springs and your quickness off the jump versus trying to be, what we've had in the past in terms of shot blockers. But we do have to have some help in the bigs and them staying on the court because I'm not worried about it right now, but it'll cost us dearly down the stretch, Philip. Thanks for that insight, man. Appreciate you. All right, X, Roll Tide, man. Close us out on your side. Got 30 seconds.
Hey, Bama. Great week for Bama athletics. Football team, Coach DeBoer doing what he's doing. Basketball team gets a huge win over the rival Auburn Tigers. Been a great week. Ready for next week and see what brings us in the Alabama world again.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach DeBoer and the staff knocking it out of the park. Big get with Ryan Williams. Big get with Noah Carter, two of his guys. Great job closing out the portal. Great move with Freddie Roach becoming the head coach, assistant head coach. Love what he's doing. Love how he's doing it. Nate Oates and the basketball team gets another big win over the LSU Tigers, making it 2 in a row over the Tigers. We'll talk about it on Monday with Kennington Smith III. That's Xavier Houston. I'm Martin Houston. That's Justin Jones. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out there, everybody. See ya on Monday.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.